Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a quick, almost like a mini lecture on mindfulness and physical activity. There is a little bit of section about why we use yoga for this class in particular. So, mindful physical activity is about performing exercise or movement while focusing inward. It's an opportunity to let go of distractions and a chance to focus your attention on your sensations, whether that's your breath, the movements of your body, your muscles. Regardless, it's focusing inward. The basic premise here is that when you give your full attention to your workout or to movement, you're bound to do it more effectively and safely. So research says that there are all kinds of positive associations between mindfulness and physical activity, and this can be an increased effectiveness of your workout, decreasing your chance of injury, enhancing your enjoyment of exercising, and improving body satisfaction. When you're doing mindful physical activity, it's also about a balance between discipline and listening to our body's needs. Sometimes listening to your body or being mindful can give your body a day of rest when maybe you're too tired, too exhausted, too beat up, and this can have both short-term and long-term benefits. There are significant mental health benefits also to mindful physical activity. In a 2018 Psychology of Sport paper, it was found that mindfulness practices into daily movement can lead to greater mental health benefits. And so then those health benefits are a reduction in stress, reduction in anxiety, reduction in depression, and an increase in motivation. So just to switch gears for a little bit, why do we use yoga? Well, first and foremost, yoga and mindfulness naturally go together because the aim of both is to achieve a higher level of connection, awareness, or what we like to call a union between the mind, body, and spirit. So the word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to yoke or to unite. So then yoga is naturally a union of the body with the breath, the mind and the spirit in order to feel complete and whole and connected. So again, yoga and mindfulness aim to quiet the mind, and the goal is to cultivate a deeper connection and understanding of yourself. Without mindfulness, you're not really doing yoga is one of the kind of like sentiments in the yoga field. Just some quick context is that yoga origins come from ancient India around 5,000 years ago. Again, this is very similar to our mindfulness background. Ancient texts laid out an entire philosophy to achieve enlightenment with yoga. The primary focus was originally meditation. The physical postures were originally just seated postures, and then in the last couple hundred years, the physical postures, especially in the West, have taken a lot of focus. Again, although it's not a religious practice, it does have connections with Hinduism and Buddhism. And then, once again, similar to mindfulness, there are many secular yoga practices. Yoga is adaptable. It can be presented in a lot of different facets, and in Western society, you see it in lots of magazines, in lots of gyms, in yoga studios, in corporate wellness, yoga for kids. So yoga is adaptable. Mindful yoga is something that helps prepare the body for mindful meditation. So what we see, or sometimes what we participate in yoga studios, is yoga, but then there's like one extra layer, and that's mindful yoga. And that is a deep sense of awareness and opening into yourself while you're participating in yoga. It can help you face the challenges of every day and demonstrate less reactivity. So really like how you approach yourself on the mat, the things you say to yourself, the things that you notice, is oftentimes how you're going to act towards others or towards yourself when you're not in the yoga studio. Through a mindful yoga practice, we learn to accept situations and the limitations of our own body. And that is a huge important lesson, both on and off the mat. This number 4, a heightened sense of compassion and non-judgment for others. Again, what you practice on the mat tends to go outside the field. And so yoga itself, you can have an increased compassion and kindness and understanding. And so the more you practice that for yourselves during your yoga class, the more likely you will have less judgment for yourself and others. And finally, mindful yoga, so the practice of mindful yoga, can really deepen your personal yoga practice. For many people, it can become like a daily checklist or things you have to do, or this is just a form of exercise. And when you pause and you approach yoga in a different way, you kind of take it off of autopilot, and it opens yourself up more deeply to experience one practice and then another, and then more often a deeper yoga practice. So mindful physical activity is not just yoga. So you'll see on Canvas and on this page, there's lots of ways to participate in mindful physical activity outside of the mat. So for example, you can do this while lifting weights. You would put your full attention on the muscles you're strengthening, really feel your muscles contract and relax with each repetition. You would really focus on the breath. This is really important when you are learning a new skill, fine-tuning a skill, have an injury and you're rehabbing. When you think about it, you are very technical when you're relearning or learning something. But if you can focus on those more often rather than, again, running on autopilot. To practice mindful running, you could simply turn off your iPod. You can bring your attention to the sound of your sneakers or your shoes hitting the concrete or the trails, the rhythm of your breath, movement of your arms. Some people also use this as an opportunity to appreciate their surroundings, which is sometimes pretty tricky to do while you're running. For a warm-up or before your workout, this is a great opportunity to check in with yourself. Almost do like a head-to-toe body scan and just notice where you're tired. Notice what's sore. Notice if you have some sort of like niggling injury, kind of like doing a body scan. Again, another time to do this is stretching, just like you would do with yoga. And same thing with, I'm just going to give the example as a spinning class. A lot of times when you are distracted, you are no longer listening to the instructor and you're on a different place in that ride than anybody else. So this is an opportunity to really connect and feel your muscles working in unison and with others and with the teacher and with your bike. So some tips. So before beginning your workout, really kind of take a minute to center yourself and figure out your intention, like your why. Is this purpose of your workout for speed? Is this strength? Is this endurance? Like focus on it. Is this you need to win and hit a certain time today? Or is this I need to get mobility? So knowing the intent of that workout or of that physical activity. A different day or a different time, like using the entire workout to be aware of your posture. Posture and alignment are always worth our attention. And the more that you can kind of be in the correct posture and still be relaxed, the better the rest of your movements will be. You could also work on your breathing and breathing rhythmically, which is pretty tricky in some activities. And so coming back to it and then coming and kind of losing track and then coming back. So every time you come back to your breathing would be another time that you're practicing mindful physical activity, just like when we're practicing meditation and we lose a thought and we get distracted and then we come back to our breathing. It would be the same approach. Remind yourself why you're working out. Instead of, again, being on autopilot or rushing through, like really take a minute to be grateful or to focus on like, why am I doing this again? Do you have a large goal? See and hear your surroundings. And then appreciating your abilities, like having an opportunity to thank your body, especially if you are learning a new skill, recovering from injury, being brave enough to try something else. So that's what we have for today. Be sure you go through Canvas and all the other opportunities.